You know, the reason why we joined gyms in the first place is because we felt like it was a safety net. The name Gyms is just a huge brand, and a lot of people will actually only call gyms because of the name. So I just feel like having that safety net behind us, we can just keep going and getting bigger and better as we go along.
So welcome to Con and Jenny from Gym Scratch and Dent in your territory is Yagoona. You've nearly just spent, I think you've been going for 2 years now in business, which is great. So congratulations. And I've had a look at your on the system here, and I'll just tell people, perfect 5-star rating. So over 109 ratings, you've had perfect 5-star, not one complaint, which is fantastic. It's an amazing effort. And then also, I think commendations, you've received a heap of, commendations on your service. So you've done a great job in your business in 2 years. So how's everything been going?
We can't complain. We're loving life. Everything's been going great. Today is actually our 2-year anniversary, and I can solidly say it was the best decision of our life. You know, I come from a corporate background. Con's still in his trade, but he used to work for someone. So instead of making someone else rich, we're making ourselves.
How's it been for you, Con?
Oh, it's been great, mate.
I remember you from Tradex. So what was your job exactly prior? Were you in a panel shop, or where were you?
Yeah, I was in a paddle shop. Yeah, 27 years in a paddle shop. So
27 years.
Yeah.
Jeez. Wow.
Feels good to be out on the road.
And what was the thing for you that pushed you over the edge to get to do your own thing?
Yeah, do my own thing, bit of freedom, pick up the kids from school. Yeah, everything's worked out. It was very good.
Yeah, awesome. And Jenny, from your perspective, how was it? Because 27 years on a salary, you got that consistent income coming all the time, and it's like, I want to start my own thing. It can be quite scary. So how's that been from your perspective?
The thing that works for us is that he stays in his lane and I stay in my lane. So I basically run the business in terms of quoting and invoicing and dealing and liaising with clients from A to Z. Con opens up the diary and does the hard work, obviously, the labor-intensive side of things. But because we stay in our own lane, it works out great. To be honest, I thought we would have killed each other by now, but we haven't. We've learned to sort things out amongst ourselves. But coming from corporate into, working from home 100% of the time, look, I do miss a couple of things here and there, socializing and things like that with colleagues, but I've got to deal with him now. He's my colleague. But it's all...
There's a lot of husband and wife teams in gyms, and a lot of them say the same as what you said about, I don't know how long it will last, but a lot of them say it's a great thing for them and their family, and not, you're doing this thing together, so you know what you both go through in regards to running a successful small business.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, we've got 4 kids that motivate us. This is all for them. So we hustle daily for them to keep a roof over our heads, to make a decent living, to have a great life. And so far, 2 years in, I have no complaints. Do you?
No complaints whatsoever.
So I remember you from training. It's good because we had the Ask Gym session, and I think I remember you from there with the questions and stuff. So it's really great to see what you do. Obviously, see your stuff on social as well, which you do a great job on Instagram and TikTok and things like that. Because I think as a service, this is a no-brainer for customers. There should be 1,000 of these things. I don't know why people, when they have this option here, would go to the panel shop. So, Con, from your perspective, as someone who's been in a panel shop for so much time, what's the difference about your service compared to theirs?
Pretty much where they don't lose their cars for days, if not weeks. Pretty much is what happens in a panel shop. The services, we go there, into your driveway, we get the job done within the day, and you're off. You don't have to touch your excess. Don't have to worry about paying for your excess through your insurance.
Your premiums going up. That's a huge factor as well. They go up on average by 20% in the following year. And so if you've got multiple cars on your policy, it's not just the one car that goes up. It's all the cars in the policy that go up at the same time. And so even if our quote comes in, for example, and majority of the time, I would say actually 90% of the time, it's well under the excess. But even if it does come over the excess, you would be silly not to pay that $100, $200 more up front and save yourself the heartache of the long-term consequences of putting in a claim and then your premiums going up and getting a bad record, more importantly.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think people probably take that into consideration about the premiums on the renewal. If you've got a claim, it's a good point. And Con, is there anything from your perspective with jobs that you can't do? Like, obviously there might be something that's obviously a near write-off that you can't do, but it's pretty much most sort of things you can do that people might think traditionally they would just go to a panel shop.
Yeah, there are a few jobs that we get which are too big for us, and we just don't have the equipment for that. So we can just recommend which panel shop now we will take the car to.
Yep.
And yeah, it works out pretty good.
And I had a look on your Instagram. He does a lot of obviously scratches, but there's a lot of serious dents that you guys can fix, which I want to point out to people that they might not be aware of. So I think that's pretty cool how you can come around within the day and sort out something where they've missed their car and all that sort of stuff, and it gets done with a great job.
Yeah, it's very convenient. Very
Absolutely.
convenient for the customer.
Are you surprised it's not more bigger yet? Because I know overseas this I think is a little bit more well known and bigger, but I think this is a service is just a no-brainer for people. And I know the division is growing, but I think it's just that I can't believe there's not 100 or 500 of these around Australia.
Yeah, well, the only thing is, though, it's a skills shortage. It's about having the trade behind it to fill these positions, essentially. At the end of the day, not everyone wants to leave a panel shop. So, these tradies are worried. They could be scared that, of the unknown. We dove head first. We didn't know what was going on. It was only, I think, a colleague of yours that recommended gyms. Like, he knew someone that was doing it very early on, because obviously Scratch and Dent division has only been around, I think, for 3.5 years. So, we came in 2 years ago, so it was fairly new. And if it wasn't for that recommendation and then me looking further into it and researching it, then I don't know if we would have taken the jump in as well ourselves. But to be honest, if anyone is worried or scared about it, it's probably silly. Just ask questions. We've had plenty of guys inquire through us, and we happily and honestly answer them. And there's been a couple that really want to go into it, because at the end of the day, the work-life balance is crazy good. Like Con said, he can go pick up the kids from school, which you're going to do at 3:00.
That's right.
Yeah, I can't be more than say.
What are your 4 kids?
We've got 10, 9, 8, and 3.
So a busy household. Gee whiz, busy household. And you would have been, your youngest one would have been 1 when you started this whole thing. So
Yeah. 10 months old.
10 months old. Jeez.
Yeah.
So just that flexibility, like it must have been worth its weight in gold to you guys back then, I guess.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Look, like I've said, it's actually, my daughter has a conference, a athletic conference next Tuesday. I can cross that off our calendar so he doesn't have to do any work, and we can go support her at that conference. Prior to this, Con wouldn't be home before 5 p.m. I wouldn't be home before a certain time. So, we didn't get to do that. We couldn't go to these things if it wasn't for gyms. And I just feel like, the reason why we joined gyms in the first place is because we felt like it was a safety net. The name gyms is just a huge brand, and a lot of people will actually only call gyms because of the name. So I just feel like having that safety net behind us, we can just keep going and getting bigger and better as we go along.
And especially in this industry, I think, where people want that extra reassurance of the person coming is an expert at what they do. And they, are they surprised by how much expertise you got? It's 27 years in a panel shop, and they get access to it at their home, and they can do it on spot. I think it's a pretty cool thing for customers.
Yeah, they're all pretty amazed on how much time it requires to get a job done and the process of getting it done. They think, you're going to be there for half an hour, you're just going to get out the spray and paint it and away you go. But once they see the process, they're amazed at how much work goes into actually repairing and painting something. So yeah, it's good that you get a lot of satisfaction when you see happy customers.
Do you want to give people a quick idea about the process? I know it can be quite long, but do you want to just tell them a little bit about what's involved? Because it obviously goes to the value that they receive for the job.
Pretty much cover the floor as soon as you get there, so you don't get any paint or anything on the floor. If it's our usual corner bumper bar repairs, we try to put as minimal as filler as possible. So all the scratches and grazes and everything like that, we try to pretty much sand them all out. I use a UV primer, which has got a lot of build to it and it doesn't shrink. After that, we just mask up the whole car and pretty much just mix and match the color and paint it, dry it with our infrared lights, and yeah, out of there.
Can I just add, a lot of people actually don't realize, because they think of a traditional panel shop where they have their car lost for about a week or two sometimes. Yep. They don't realize Con doing this job, the same process as a panel shop, but we have different materials and supplies that we use than a traditional panel shop. We have fast drying equipment and supplies. We've got the infrared lighting and the UV lighting. So all of that stuff is not part of the traditional panel shop. We have different supplies and materials that we're using. That's why we can do it mobile. That's why we can do it in such minimal time. Plus, we're just focusing on one car at a time, whereas panel shops have got 30 cars lined up. Hence why they take that 2 weeks. We're focusing on one car at a time. We get it done within those few hours and away you go. Literally, once the paint is dried, you can drive your car immediately. There's no ifs or buts about it, unless it's torrential rain. Well, that's a different story. But we can't do the work in the rain. It's got to be covered.
But I also think that you guys own the business is a big thing. The person working on their vehicle in a panel shop most likely does not own that business. It's an employee, whereas you actually, literally, you're the owner of the business coming to do the job. And I think there's just an extra level of care that a business owner puts in over an employee. Not saying employees don't care about their work, but I think you're the owner of the business coming to do the job. And I think that would be something that would be quite reassuring to customers.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. We take pride from A to Z. I'm the first contact, I'm the last contact, and Con is in between. So when he gets his work done, our respect for our own business is through the roof, and we just need to make sure that every customer that comes through us is as happy as Larry, and it's as simple as that. I won't take anything less. Con won't take anything less. If there's even one, it's not a mistake, but something that hasn't worked out correctly or to the standard of the workmanship that he cares for and takes, he will make sure it's done before he leaves. It's as simple as that.
And what are some common questions you get from customers, Con and Jenny, that you might want to just share? What are some common things that customers constantly ask you that you might want to address?
The most common one, which you pretty much get on 90% of the jobs, is the colour going to match?
Yes.
Is the colour going to be the same?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are you getting the paint from the actual manufacturer? So they don't understand that you've got a whole paint system in your van. You don't need to get it from the car manufacturer.
They've even offered the colour, the sample.
Yeah, they even offer you a sample of what the dealership gave them when they buy the car brand new. But yeah, we've got our own. We know it works. We know it's good. It's got warranty. So yeah, pretty much that is the main one. Is the colour going to match?
The one thing I reiterate when I get asked that question is that there is a 3-step process to colour matching before he even paints the panel he's repaired. So the first step is getting the colour code from the car. The second step, we've got something called a spectro, which is kind of like a camera. And what we do is he takes a photo of one of the panels or the adjacent panel on the car, and then he plugs that into his computer and it gives him the closest formula to the actual panel. So even if it's been repaired before, he's going to know what that formula is. Then he hasn't even painted the panel yet. He sprays it out on a card just to ensure that it does match the car. And then that's when he's happy with that, and if he needs to make any adjustment to the colour, then he paints the repair itself.
And you mentioned warranties before as well, Con. What are the warranties with the paint and the work?
Paint manufacturer warranties it for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So with the gym's warranty, obviously it's 5 years.
That's cool. It's good for customers to know as well. And just out of interest, the dents, how do you remove dents? Like that's like if you got a dent in the side of the car, I'm curious about how does it actually get done?
Boiling water, right?
No, yeah, probably way well.
A lot of people say boiling water because they're
really.
Yeah.
We use glue.
Yeah.
So it's a glue pulling system. So yeah, we pretty much get everything out with the glue, and then it makes our lives easier.
And what's the biggest dent you've removed so far? What's the biggest job you've done so far?
I think that rear bumper bar in the North Shore on, I think it was a Suzuki. That was massive dent. You remember?
There was that one. There was a black Suzuki. I think a black Suzuki would have been the worst one.
I would say soccer ball size dent. Had to be. Yeah. Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, they just bought that car, and yeah, black Mazda, big dent on the door.
And you guys can come in and sort it within a day, which I think's the amazing thing for customers to know. Yeah. I was going to say as well then, Jenny, from your experience, what do you get common questions from customers? Is it mainly the colour? Can you match the colour? Is there anything else? Or
Yeah. How long will it take?
How long?
That's one of the biggest questions. How long? And obviously, I kind of know based on the type of job it is. I give them a range. I can't be very specific and say, well, it's only going to take an hour or 2 hours, because anything can happen on the day. The weather can play a part. Anything can happen. So I always give an average timing. Typically, I would say, just say, for example, you've got a scratch on your bumper bar, anywhere between 2.5 to 3 hours is where it lies. It could be a little bit less, it could be a little bit more, but around there. So if you consider that, you're not having much downtime, are you? You literally can be in a meeting for work, and by the time you get out of it, your car's ready to go and you can leave.
That's a good point for people. Yeah, you could just get it done at work. And I was going to say as well, how many jobs roughly a week are you guys doing?
Oh, look, we're averaging 2 a day. So
Right. Yeah.
2 a day. That's probably it. But you know, you got to consider the travel time as well.
That's a lot. I think I know because you got to get there. You got to do all the. It's a lot.
You got to set up. He's got to unpack, repack. He's got to get all his tools out and things like that. But yeah, 2 a day. If they're a really small job, we could possibly squeeze in 3. But right now, it's 2 a day.
I'll say to people, check out your Instagram. It's Jim Scratch and Dent is at Yaguna on TikTok and Instagram. You do a lot of stuff on there. So we'll grab some of those videos and put them into this to show the work. Because I think it's a great thing for people to see. And it must be, they love seeing it. And I think a lot of people don't know that we can do this sort of stuff. So it's great for them to see what you guys are doing. Do you imagine people reaching out to you via social media at all for jobs or?
Oh, can I know? I can't even count a daily how much we get. One of my videos, and please don't ask me how I got 37,000 views on it. I don't know. I don't know what I did differently other than a hyperlapse. I got 60 inquiries just from that one video.
How many? 16?
60. 60. Yes.
Jeez. And were there any that you could do in your area?
Yes. There was quite a number of them. I actually converted 3 of those into jobs.
Wow. From that one video.
But daily, I would say at a good 2 to 3. Sometimes it's better. Sometimes a dozen in a day. I'll get inquiries. I get a lot of return as well. So a lot of return customers. See, one of the things I do with my quoting is in the next message, I send my social media links. I want everyone to feel confident in our workmanship. So I definitely send that. So I get a lot of new followers, and then they find me through my socials if they've lost my number for whatever reason. And they find me through the socials as well.
That's great. I love hearing that. We're going to clip that up and put it in training because I think it's a good thing to hear that. And I was going to say as well, with the job itself, you don't have to say how much money you're making, but income-wise, you're happy with what you've been doing?
Very content. Look, if we can live off, we're literally one income. So it's not like I'm working outside of this or Con has another job. One income, 4 children, sending them all to school, we're content.
That's good to hear. And I was going to say as well, looking back now, how did the training hold you in good stead? Because obviously you would have had to come down for the 3 days down here. So how's the training sort of helped you, and how did it marry up maybe to your expectations about gyms to being where you are now?
I'll tell you the one thing that stuck out for me, and I will never forget it, is there was a franchisor who was in the cleaning department. I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. Nicole.
Yeah.
The one thing she said was stand by your price, stand by your quote, and take pride in it and don't waver because you know what your skill is. And she mentioned in that training that one time she did a job and that person said, yep, I'll pay you. She then dropped her equipment on the floor, stood in the doorway and said, you can pay me now. So that kind of confidence in my quoting is now what I have filtered, what she said, I have now filtered through into my quoting. And I make sure I stand by that. Yeah, so I live by and stand by Nicole's words, that I stand by my quotes. Even if someone comes to me afterwards and says, well, you're too expensive, I then explain that we're not too expensive. It's really perception. You're getting someone with, 30 years worth of experience, who's a tradesman painter, who has so much skill behind him, who will go to your home, do it in your driveway, the convenience behind that alone, with no downtime, no loss of vehicle, and plus you're not touching your insurance. So I'm not sure where the expensive part comes into play here, when a lot of the time our quotes come in under your excess.
Yeah.
So the value is there. So that's the one thing I took away from the training. I live by that now, and have since the moment I walked away from that training.
I think it sounds obvious, but the insurance premium thing, you're not going to have that insurance increase or the reason for them to increase your premium. Just the savings alone for the next 5 to 10 years from that would more than well pay for just this, and plus the convenience. So I think it's absolutely no brainer. Well, then from your perspective, Con, what's been the best thing about the whole thing? Has it just been doing your own business or more time with family?
It's the freedom. The best thing is the freedom.
What
Yeah.
freedom? I rule your life.
Calm down. Yeah, it's the freedom, mate. It's going to the school, the athletics carnival, the swimming carnivals, and it's the freedom, which is great.
Most days he's home by 1 o'clock. If that.
That's great to hear that. That's what you should. Family business, it's up to you guys. That's awesome to hear that. I think that's, you work hard enough for 27 years for someone else, you got that freedom. You should be able to do what you want and make your great money, which is great. And I was going to say as well, Jason, the support, how's the support been from the division? Because you would have been one of the earlier ones, would have been quite scary. So how's the support been from Jason as the divisional and other franchisees?
Jason's been pretty good.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love Jason.
Every time I have a question about something, I call him and he gives me the time, or he gives Con the time. There's never been one, scenario where he's gone, no, I'll get back to you in a week or so. He literally, if he doesn't pick up the phone then and there, within the hour, he's called me back and we're sitting there having a conversation. Sometimes it could be for 40 minutes. So Jason is brilliant and fantastic, and the type of support that we've needed coming into a small business, for the first time as a married couple.
And what's maybe then you's been the biggest challenges doing it? Because got a great business, but what's to you's been the biggest challenge doing the business?
Everyone wants it done yesterday.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, we've lost a couple of customers because we couldn't fit them in the time frame that they needed. Just yesterday. Oh, sorry, not yesterday. Yesterday was Sunday, wasn't it? Sorry, Friday. Just on Friday, I quoted someone and they said, "Can you do it by Wednesday?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, but we're actually booked out till September, like early September. There's just no way we could have done it." And I never say no to a customer. The one thing that I also take pride in is I never shut anyone down immediately. I'll say, I'll see what I can do. And if I have exhausted all avenues, then I say, I'm so sorry. There's just no way I can fit it in, into that time frame.
No, you've got to. That's great to hear as well with the feedback. Now, before we finish up today, because I don't think there's anything else I can ask you. It's just been great to hear how well you've been going. Is there anything you want to maybe let people know, or let customers know, or anything at all before we end it today? Because I know you got your school drop off to go to.
Yeah, you mean concept?
Yeah, both of you guys, both.
All I can say is for a customer's perspective, the one thing that they should know about us is that we care. We're very honest people, and on many occasions, I didn't want to win the quote. I've actually been honest with people, given them the best advice for their scenario, and lost the job, that's current job. But on many of occasions, they come back to us tenfold, referring people, or that they themselves with another car or another damage, and come back to us because of our honesty. We're not here to rip anyone off, never will be, because at the end of the day, I just think, would I like it to happen to me? Absolutely not. So that's the one thing I want customers to know, that we do care, and I'll always give you the best advice possible. For anyone that wants to become a franchisee, I think the best advice is jump in immediately. Do not let this go longer than it should be. I think we regret hearing about it earlier on and then letting it go for maybe a month, but we should have done it immediately. It's the best decision of our life. I've said that before, and I'll continue to say it. Just, we're so content with our life at the moment, with the kids, with our family life balance, but also financially, it's been fantastic. We can't complain.
You've done it. It's quite, it was my heart, because I've obviously met you guys, 2 years ago in training and at the Arch Gym stuff, and you remember people, and like, I'm in a good position because I get to see from there to there, and it's always a bit of a worry, and hopefully you want people to do well. So it's great to hear that it's married up with your expectations of what it could do, and you've obviously put a lot of hard work into it. Like, it's not easy to maintain 0 complaints, in 2 years with a perfect 5-star rating. So well done on your success, and the work you do is obviously a great job, and obviously the social stuff you do is awesome. I see it all the time. So I wish we had more franchisees doing that sort of proactive stuff on social. It's great to hear how well it works for your business, but really happy to hear, families, you got your family, you're working around with everything. And I'll let Jim know when I finish off that I've had a chat to you guys about it. But yeah, we appreciate your time for jumping on, and we hope your business keeps kicking goals. And yeah, once again, really happy for your success.
Thank you, Joel. And appreciate you taking the time to, have us on. That's been amazing. What a
No, it's great. I reckon you do great on socials. So I'm sort of a bit selfish in a way because I can clip that up with us and go, the franchisees, this is what you need to do, and look what happens. So I'm really, really happy you're doing it and it's working for you. So
look, what you said in training, I took on board wholeheartedly and I ran with it. The only thing I regret that I didn't take on board earlier that you said in training was about Chat GPT. I believe me.
nah, it's all right.
But I bought 2 years ago.
It worked well for your division, actually. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there, but yeah, it's quite amazing. A lot of franchisees I talked to now, there's a lot of use cases and things, but it would work well for your division. So yeah, definitely give it a go and see what it can do.
Oh, I use it now. I'll be
good,
using it.
good.
Yeah. I use it now.
Good to hear.
So,
All right, guys. Thanks again. Appreciate your
Thanks.
time. Thank you for listening to the episode of the Gyms podcast. If you want to learn more about the Gyms Group, head to gyms.net or call us on 131 546 Australia or 0800 454 654 New Zealand. And if you did like the episode as well, please make sure you leave a review or a comment or a thumbs up or a comment on the video as well. We appreciate your support. And until next episode, we hope you have a great week.